Well, let me go ahead and start the recording here so we get this for posterity. So I just opened up ICC Express and I realized that I didn't have my actual normal accounts that I would be curating to. So I do think I have those accounts on Keyworkz. So let me see. No, that actually wouldn't be there because they use the same database. So we're kind of at the same spot here with all my things. So we're just going to basically start from scratch here and put in that account. Clear fields and I think I got the right password. We'll see. Oh, incorrect. This is going to be fun. I apologize for being a little bit disorganized, folks. In case you didn't know, I have a really big launch coming up tomorrow, so I'm a little bit scattered. That's not going to work. So, okay, hold on. Tell you what, I know how to fix this, but I have to go behind the curtain for a minute. So just hold on a second. Bear with me, folks. I am actually going to restore my normal database here. See, that's what happens when I go and help people. I kind of lose my own stuff sometimes, so that's kind of what happened today. So just hold on. Okay, that should do it. Hold on. All right, so we'll see if that worked. I think that worked. Yeah, looks like we are back in business. All my accounts are. Okay, guys, sorry about that. Hi, Tanya. That's great to see Tanya here. Let me bring Tanya on board. How are you today, Tanya? I don't know if you can hear me okay. Turn on your microphone. Tanya works with me a lot of curation stuff, and she'll probably be sharing some things with you too at some point. Today I'm going to just go ahead and continue curating from my Beyond Paranormal blog, I guess. And if anybody has any questions for me, I encourage you to go ahead and give me your questions, and I'll go ahead and do my best to answer. Now that I have all my accounts restored here, we can go forward on this. So, Beyond Paranormal. Just to refresh you guys about how ICC Express works with Keyworkz, in the earlier webinars that we did, as you may recall, I did a bunch of keyword structuring with Keyworkz, and then I used it to actually create the categories and structures on the blog. And then I just started curating to that blog. So that's basically what we're doing here. And my keywords all ended up in this section right here. That's called curation sources. If you go click on tab number 2 and then you go to profile source connections. So I have quite a few profiles over here, and but I've selected this one called Beyond Paranormal. And over on the right-hand side, of course, the ones that have the green highlighting are the keywords that are already connected to that blog. And I've gotten those keywords from Keyworkz, and we imported everything into the database so it can be used by ICC Express to hunt for content, whether that content is news, whether it's images, videos, pretty much anything we can find it. Pardon me. So it's kind of interesting to look down here and see all these keywords that I've accumulated working with Keyworkz and ICC Express. And remember, when I just opened it up with the other database, I didn't have any of those keywords, because all those keywords are all in my database because I saved them and imported them from Keyworkz. And we have this other control over here, which is show only connected objects. And if you check that, all of a sudden you'll notice a lot of those keywords have disappeared now over on the right-hand side, because we're only showing the ones that are connected to our current profile. Let me just make sure, is everyone still hearing me okay? I don't want to sit here blabbing away and nobody can hear me. So I just want to make sure. Give me a 1. Give me a 1 in that chat box if you can hear me okay. Give me a 1. That's not a 1, Dan. But at least I know that you can hear me. Okay. Alrighty then. It's just thank you, David. Thanks a lot. Okay, folks. So I just want to make sure you're with me. So this is where all my content's going to come from when I do my curating. Those of you who have been attending regularly, these sessions, you already know how I do that and how I've been doing that. So let's just go ahead and play around and create a little more content, because we have these different areas to look at. You know what I think I'm going to do right now, because I want to do more than always just looking for videos and that sort of thing. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to break off a little bit different direction right here for a minute and see if I can find some, paranormal type of websites out there that might have RSS feeds that I can put into ICC Express that'll help me pull down more news content than just always a video. Videos are great, of course, but it's good to have more variety. So let me see what I can find here. Let me just search for that exact term, paranormal blog in RSS, just to see. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but we'll see. Here we go, supernatural RSS feeds. That's it's just about exactly what I was looking for, isn't it? Okay, look at this. Wow, quite a lot. So what we can do here is that we can just copy these links and try to import them into, thank you, bye. Import them into ICC Express. So I've copied that link address, as you can see. I'm going to go back to the curation sources section and go to the RSS feeds. You'll notice that there is also a little selector up here in the right-hand corner. This actually does change the profile if you play with it. So you want to make sure you're on the right profile. And as it changes the profile, it also reselects any RSS feeds, because the RSS feeds are specific to the profile the way it works in ICC Express. That means that as I add this RSS feed to this profile, it's only going to be available for that profile. Although we can manage that over here. And now you can see all the RSS feeds that I actually do have in the software. And as I click on different profiles, you see the different feeds selected, the ones that are actually connected to those profiles, just like the keywords. It works the same way. Not sure if you're aware of that, but it also does work that way as well with the HTML URL curation as well. The ones that are highlighted over here are the ones that are going to be available to me when I have that profile selected. It's one way of just like filtering out all the data and like keeping things really focused on the, the keyword and the niche, the topic that you want to focus on. Now back to Beyond Paranormal. So I only have one here. I have this. That's actually an HTML URL. So we'll go to the RSS. Apparently I have one RSS feed connected. I'm going to go and try some of these feeds now. So let's go ahead and add this feed, paste it in, parse it. Parse is a kind of a programmer word that means gather, the data from it, process that text in a way that it gathers the data. That's what I think what parsing means. So we parsed it. We now have the actual title, and we also have all these stories. So it looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and just click Add. And as soon as I click Add, you see that it disappears because it's already in the list right here. If you want to look at it again, you can double click, I think. Can you double click it? Click View Selected Feed. That's right. You click View Selected Feed, then you can double click the entries, I think, to go and see the story. There's a lot of interesting stories in that feed. Case of the explosive nuclear time traveler. Well, that looks pretty interesting. Okay, so we've got some other feeds here too that I'm going to go ahead and parse. Let's grab, well, these are mostly from the same one, so I don't know if it's going to really help me to do more from this blog, but let's give it a try. I'll get the second one and clear it, paste in that URL, parse it. And then we've got more stories. I'm not sure. They looks like they're kind of different. Are they different stories from before? I really wasn't paying attention, to be honest. Let's click done. I don't know why it. Oh, I didn't click add. That's what. I have to click add. Parse it. Click add. Then you can click done, and you see both of those now. The paranormal one. Let's view this one. Memorial Day Zombie, Explosive Nuclear, Home Invasion, Havoc. Let's view this one. Werewolf. Yeah, they're definitely different stories, so that's good. Might as well go ahead and just grab all of these then, because there's so many different stories. It might be probably appreciate me curating their stuff too. We'll find some other things as well. I'll just put a few of these in here. Parse, add, copy, paste, parse, add, and time travelers. Let's get that one. Paste, parse, add, and done. Okay. Now I would hope that they're going to appear now in here. There's a chance that they don't, but let's find out. Click RSS feeds. And there they are. Yes, indeed. So now we just have to click one of these selections that I've just added and that's going to fill up this one with the stories. So now we've got all these stories from this feed that I just grabbed. Actually, I'd like to go get some more feeds, but you know, I could take some time doing that. So maybe I'll just go ahead and curate something from this. Let's say time traveler caught on tape. Looks interesting. It actually might fit under UFOs videos too. Do I have anything about time travel in here? No, I actually don't. That would be a good topic though to add. Let me see. I don't know. I might just try adding that with Keyworkz real quick. Hi, Jeff. How does the HTML URLs work? Okay, I'll show you that in a moment. Actually, I can show you that now. It's really no big deal. So let's go ahead and look at that. HTML URLs. So basically, the reason that we have that here, Jeff, is because not every story on the internet can be accessed from an RSS feed. You know, there's some stories out there you say, wow, I really want to curate that. You could certainly do it manually, you know, copy and paste, and there's no reason not to do that. But if you do want to use, you know, ICC Express to do that job, then this is what you do. So what I have to do is actually find an interesting story out there somewhere. Now I'm not looking for RSS. I'm actually looking for news. Like let's just say paranormal news and see what comes up just for the heck of it. Oops. Because the idea is that, you know, if there's a story out there that you really want to share, then you're going to do this. And watching me do it now is probably more, seems like more effort than it naturally is, but I'm not really aware of a big story that I want to curate right now. So that's the problem. I have to find one. So let's see. Let's just click on a random website and see if there's something interesting on it. Let me get rid of Keyworkz for a minute. Well, this is interesting. Altered dimensions. That goes along well with my company, Web Dimensions. So we've got altered dimensions and web dimensions. I bet they got an RSS feed for this too, but not seeing it right here. Oh, this has some really dark things. How about this? Historic photos. That could be, let's see if they have enough of a text story to go with the photos. Not really. So I'm not going to pick that one right now. So I'm trying to look for a story that really has interesting news. That would be worth curating on a one-off basis, you know. Hi, Bert Navarro. Good question about Google Alerts, and I'm going to address that in a moment. Let's see. Wow, they definitely have some bizarre stories on this one. Okay, here. Let's use this one about a fast-moving flying saucer over the Bronx. Okay, Jeff. So this is one that I'll curate. Normally, I'd want to curate one that's a little bit even more thick with text, but I don't want to really spend more time wasting your time looking for something. So I'm just going to use this one right now. So what we do is we take the URL here. And this is like if you're out cruising the net and you're thinking about your blog and you see a story and you're like, damn, that is awesome. I need to, throw that up on my blog with ICC Express. So what you're going to do is you just grab the URL like this, copy it, come back to ICC Express, make sure you have the right profile selected. You go to number 2, curation sources, HTML URLs, add a URL, paste this in and parse. And you might even parse it again and just see if it can do. See, the second time it could get the description. See how cool that was? And now, for some reason, it takes 2 times sometimes. So you click parse the first time, and if it says unable to get the description, then parse it again. And you might get the description. So I've got the full description now. I don't even need to do anything else with this, okay, now except add it. So I'm just going to go add. There is actually one more thing that I should do here, which is add the author or source, which cannot be parsed by the HTML parsing. So what we'll do is go back here and figure out who it is that wrote this. Well, they're actually citing New York Post and so on and so forth, but they're not really giving a name. So what I will do is just use the name of the website, which I guess is altereddimensions.net. And again, really, guys, if I were going to be curating material that's out there, it's not going to be a material like this that's already filtered through several other layers of curation. I'm going to get something, a really original, striking story, and then I'm going to do this little trick. But just for your demonstration, I'm doing it with this page because you can do it with any website. Okay, so I'll just put basically the URL here, just altereddimensions.net as the author or source, and then save that. So that should be saved. So now I've got everything saved with that URL. And again, if we go to profile source connections over here, and then I click on HTML URLs, you can see this right here. It's the Altered Dimensions Multiple Witnesses, New York City. So it's already connected and it's already locked and loaded. So we can go over here to the curation and let me clear everything just by clicking that clear button. Now I'm going to go up to the news source selector and I'm going to select web pages. It probably should say HTML URLs. Well, it does here. Once you select web pages and then this says HTML URLs. Okay. So there's nothing else in this one. Once you select that one, it goes straight to the list here. Got me? Does that make sense? So these are the 2 HTML URLs that I have pre-saved for curation. And the one that I just got is this one in multiple panic witnesses. If you want to go and see that, you can click on Show in Browser. You can click the T button to create a pre-formatted post based on the selected keyword. Now let me show you the step you should take before you actually click that button. You're locked and loaded and you're ready to click that button. First, go over to Settings and select the keyword that you really want to curate to, because that keyword is already a category on my blog because I did this with Keyworkz, right? So everything is completely synchronized between the 2 softwares on my blog. So this is about, once again, what is it about? Something, so they saw some flying saucer in New York City, I guess that's what it was. So let me figure out what is the best keyword for that. Something about UFOs, obviously. UFOs sightings. That's a good one. So what I'll do is here I click UFO sightings, and notice it now comes up over here in this default keyword. Just from clicking it here, it puts it there. Then I gotta click save. By doing that, that should set UFO sightings as my default keyword now throughout the whole program. If it doesn't, it's because there's a bug. I think it will work. So let me just go and now see we have UFO sightings already pre-selected as our category, because these are the categories on our blog. And like I said, they're already pre-synchronized. So just by selecting the keyword over here and saving it, zap, it makes me match up the category on my blog. That's also going to work in another way, which is when I actually do curate that story. And if I choose one of the pre-formatted templates, it kind of puts a little, sort of a little fake preamble here with the keyword. And it sort of pre-formats my post. The other thing that I can do now is I can open the image browser or the video browser, and it's automatically going to look for content relating to UFO sightings, since that's our default keyword throughout the software now. So let's just open the image browser, and you can see the keyword UFO sightings is already selected for me. So I'm like all ready to just grab content. The thing is that this is not necessarily royalty free. I don't always want to take my chances on Google Creative Commons, so I will go over to Wiki Commons, and sometimes they have some really good kind of classic photos and things. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. So that looks pretty good. So I think I may, this one right here, it's not the best quality image, but it's more or less, you know, it has a pretty good relationship to the content that I'm curating right now. So let me, can actually open it in the meme editor. That might be fun. Let's try that. See, now I'm just having fun. That actually looks pretty good. So I can actually have like more fun than just curating. I can actually make my own images. See, it already has my blog's address preloaded in this meme editor too, so it's kind of cool. So I can just put this right on my the article that I post, and when people come to the blog, at least they'll see that and say, wow, that looks pretty interesting. I did not actually really research that image, but I'm going to take my chances right now and just use it because it came from Wiki Commons. So if it turns out I have to go back and provide credit for the photo, I can do it. I'm not worried about that. So we can do this in a couple ways. I believe that if I store it on the blog, I'm pretty sure I already have it set to impress the keywords into the EXIF data of the resulting JPEG automatically. I believe it already does that in the background. We can certainly see if it does. I would hate to disappoint you and find out that it doesn't, but I do believe that I already programmed that in there. So let's put it in the blog. Looks pretty cool, doesn't it? And it automatically stores it on the blog and deposits it into my my blog post for me. So this image now is, it's not on Wiki Commons anymore. This image is on my blog. It's already in my blog's media library. It's a beautiful thing. I can prove that to you by opening up the media library right here. And there it is. It's the first image in my media library, along with all my other images in there. So that's pretty cool. So actually, that's like my image now. We should change this. It's a bit silly. Guys, I would actually write a little bit more about this and read it and really get to know it, but I'm just sort of demonstrating for you, so I'm not going to waste your time and, you watch a guy typing on a computer. It's not all that exciting, so I'm just going to go ahead and put a few things like maybe I'll find a little Amazon product for that one. How about that? I wasn't really going to monetize this website, but can't hurt to throw a little link out there, so might as well. Let's see what we got here. That looks interesting. Guys, I'm going to forget you're here and just start reading these books, so better be careful. Okay. Generals, pilots, and government officials go on the record. Yeah, but that doesn't look good. This one looks good. I'm going to go ahead and just insert that one in. And there's the bottom. Okay, and also this title that was generated is not really that good either, so let's do something about that. I'll just sort of copy what I have in my meme. Okay. Now my tags, of course, UFO sightings and flying saucers was probably fine. And I'm not really connected to the Facebook right now, so let's go ahead and give it a post. That was fast. Okay, and it's sort of doing that little effect that I like with the image, but it's still not quite big enough, actually. It would be better if it was about 1,000 pixels wide just to get that really cool mobile effect. Although it does look good if it's looked at like this, like a phone like that. I like it when it's like so big that it just goes over the whole one, like some of the other pictures that I have on this blog already. I won't worry about that right now. I do think I will do, just for the heck of it, I want to see if that actually, if we did get that EXIF data. See if I can. So let me see. Well, it's interesting. You notice I just downloaded that image from my blog, and looking in Windows, you can see it was definitely tagged with my EXIF data. And I just think that's just great. Really think that's awesome. You see that? All those keywords were tagged into my image, so now that will help with the SEO and the image search on Google and all that. So that's pretty cool. So that's all automated in ICC Express when you create a meme like that. Okay, so I got a couple of questions. I think that's probably a pretty good lesson today in curation, and we got some fairly specific questions now about you know, how to do curation. A couple of general questions. I'm just looking at this. It looks cool. It looks really good. So I have to get off the UFOs and start doing more ESP and ghosts and all that other stuff I have here. But it's kind of really fascinating with UFOs. Okay, the questions. Bert, how come Google Alerts are not showing up in the Google Alerts tab when I have set up alerts in the Google Alerts site itself? How many people here on this call have a similar issue? Anyone? Well, first of all, Bert, you need to go up here and go to Google Logins over here and enter the correct login here and save it. I'm not sure if you did that or not. You may have done that. You may still have a problem, but that's the first thing. Now you notice down here it says Google Alerts feeds parsed because I have mine set up correctly, of course. And what you do is that once you have them saved over here in the list, they become available in this list here. So you're going to select one and then save that profile. And when that is set up correctly, then just by going to that profile, it will automatically parse the feeds that are connected in this Google Alerts account, assuming that you have the correct credentials. What do you say, Bert? What do you say about that? Still there? He's okay, you did that, but let me check again. He says, okay, great. So if you did all that correctly, Bert, there's still other things that can go wrong. And the main thing is that you have to have your alerts feeds set as feeds and not as email alerts. That's one thing. And if you do have them set as feeds and not as email alerts, and you have the correct credentials stored in ICC Express, then you are not going to have a problem. Okay? Because I'm parsing like crazy. Those Google Alerts feeds are just like, I mean, I got all these feeds. I got stories galore. I don't have really the best keywords, but there's news coming through Google Alerts, so it definitely works. You just have to get it configured correctly. Okay. Now you had another question, which was, do you have to set up alerts for each keyword, or the seed keyword is enough for Google Alerts and TalkWalker? It really depends on the keywords, because the Google Alerts feeds have changed a lot, I think, in the last 3 years, since we started doing this. It's actually been more than 3 years now, 4 years that, we've been doing this curation thing. And early on in the game, Google Alerts were great. And it's like they would be on top of any keyword that, any keyword that appeared on the internet, you could track it and you'd get an alert for it. Unfortunately, it has been my experience that they severely dialed back, their monitoring of keywords on the internet. So even if you have everything set up, correctly, it just ends up that you're not going to get news for every single keyword. And a lot of the long tail keywords they have cut loose from. And it's very similar to, in fact, I think it's part of the same paradigm that they executed when they got rid of the Google Keyword Tool. Because the Google Keyword Tool also tracked every single keyword that you could come up with, every long tail combination that you could think of. You could get stats. And now if you try to use that keyword planner, it's only about 10% of any of the real phrases that you try to get data for that you can actually get data for. And it's the same thing with the Google Alerts. They've just completely filtered out, most of the really user serviceable data that they used to provide. It was like they just sort of decided, okay, we're not going to let the public at large really know what's going on anymore. And well, guys, I'm on a rant here, but I think that's part of, that's just what I've seen in the last 3 or 4 years. And therefore, you want to know, do you have to set up alerts for each keyword? I don't think that's effective. In fact, you'll notice now I have this particular Google Alerts account. I don't know if you can see it very well here, but I had put all of these terms in. Some of them were about personal friends, some of them were about different types of music, different musicians that I know in my professional life that might not be necessarily big and famous, but they actually did get press play and stuff like that. So I was able to track them almost every week. I would see new things about even the most local of events. And now they just don't even, most of these keywords are actually dead now in the alerts. Like, what? One story on that one. No news for beta tester? How could that be? Give me a break. Instant content curator. Well, that was great. We had a lot of news for instant content curator for a long time. Alien prequel, that was big. Nothing there now. Audio mastering hardware, nothing. These are valid keywords. It's not like, oh, that's not a good keyword. Those are keywords that people search for. So, the fact that they're just not giving us anything, it just means that they really turned their motors way down on the alerts. So therefore, even TalkWalker is actually really good, and you can probably do more. It might even be worth doing more keywords on TalkWalker, but the problem with TalkWalker is they really don't seem to have any filters, at least the last time I checked. And so you get a lot of crap. You get tons and tons and tons and tons of stories for each keyword, but very few of them really are relevant to the actual keyword. So, although it might have a mention of it in there somewhere. So it's kind of a give and take on that. I think you'll do better if you kind of do what I did today and go look for your own sources. And the thing is, there are so many people out there that are really curating now. So you kind of don't want to be curating the curators that much. You want to try to find sources that are more or less original. I think actually that one Altered Dimensions, they did have quite a few original things in there. They were very weird, dark, local stories and stuff, but you just got to dig around a bit. I mean, I don't think there's any kind of push button answer to that. Okay, Fidelis has a question for me, which is how much text should be put in for curation to have a good SEO effect? Well, that's really, really hard to say. I mean, there's so many people with theories about it. The last time I heard, you have to have 1,000 words for it to mean anything, but I don't even know if I believe that. So honestly, I think even if you just curate videos with ICC Express with a paragraph, one paragraph and a good title every day or every other day, you're going to end up with traffic. And then do some kind of a white hat offsite SEO as well. I think the bottom line is just provide some value, Fidelis. Provide something that's kind of cool that people might want to check out. And even if it means they just came to your website and then clicked a link and went to another website, that's fine. That's still traffic, it's still, they got sent to you first. And then in which case you can do, you can do a lot of things to capture that traffic, even if it's just going through you more, so to speak. Okay, do we have any other questions out there? I'll give you 30 seconds to put a question in the chat box. Well, thanks, Jeff. I'm glad you enjoyed that. I enjoyed presenting it. And I hope that I was able to kind of shed some light on those areas of ICC Express that you might not be familiar with. There's a lot of functionality in there for channeling content from all kinds of all kinds of ways. In fact, I don't think I ever showed you that HTML URL thing. So let me do that because I want to do that. I'll end the show with that because Jeff wanted to know also how that worked. So let me go ahead and go here to web pages. Did I already do that? I actually did load it, but I didn't. I did not curate it. That's what happened. So let me find that. Okay, Beyond Paranormal, web pages, and there we go. So let's go ahead and. Well, that was, I actually did, okay, I did the flying saucer already. Okay, so that already got curated. So that was the one. That was the one that we did curate for you. I'm sorry, guys, my mind's in about a million different places right now. Fidelis, can I curate for my money site? Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I don't know what your money site is, if it's AdSense, or if you're selling a product or just affiliate offers or whatever, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with providing, a curated blog. I don't know if you really even notice this. I mean, it's hard to even think about it sometimes, but even this one right here, this one that I looked at today that's called Altered Dimensions, this is a curated money site. Okay, and they've been around for a while, obviously, but these stories, no, it's not skincare, it's just vitamins, and it might not even be their choice. It's probably because I was looking at a vitamins website and I got retargeted or something. It's just how that stuff works. They don't even probably think about what you're seeing in terms of the monetization if they're just using certain ad things. Yes, there is a URL for that, Dan, for all the replays of this. And if you got to go to webinar notice, I'm pretty sure it's in the notice from GoToWebinar. But the thing is that I wanted to show you is all these stories over here. There's something weird going on with my computer that shows this block over here. But if you'll notice this list of stories over here on the left-hand side, that's just one after another of blog posts, right? And they're all, different kind of blog posts. Now let's just take a look at it and see, just take a random post. And I want to see what they're doing. Now see, they're kind of curating too. Actually, this actually does look like an original article because there's no related source. So that's good. So, that's an original article that could be curated, right? Without having to say, click here to see this article, and then when you get to that one, click that one to go see the original or whatever. No, this is actually the original article that they posted. But a lot of these articles are curated. For example, the one that I curated was probably the one in here that was, one of the ones in here that were curated. But let's just choose another random one and just check. So now here they say sources, Wisconsin Gazette, extra topics, and Facebook various users. So that, it's interesting when you think about it. So what these people are doing, and obviously they're in the front page of Google for the keyword that I'm searching. So they're getting traffic, and what they're doing is they're just scouring the internet for weird stuff and then writing short posts about it and then giving credit at the bottom. But they're not really doing it the same way that we do with ICC Express because they're not giving a link back to the other, to the source. But, who knows how original it is or what? I don't know. I'd have to really research that some more. And, what is this image from? Who knows? Probably just an original image. That's an interesting thing to note here too, that this is the kind of image that you can make with, some effects software or something. It's like the weird animated background thing. So it's easy to make original images like that, so you don't have to worry about royalty-free images and all that kind of stuff. You just make an original image. Okay, guys. So I think I've been blabbing enough for today. It's coming up right at the 9 p.m. Dan, I'm going to give you that URL. Fidelis, is it better to curate as a page or as a post? Well, it just depends on your strategy, and I've talked about that in the past about what is the difference between a page and a post. Mainly is that a post is when you go to the home page of a blog like this, and you see a lot of posts like this, one after the other. That's why a post is a post. But if you go to a page like this, let's see what it says. Now that's a page. That is a page. It is not a post because that page is only for one purpose, and it's not going to be aggregated in a list of posts. Okay? I hope that helps. And definitely, I think curating as a post is probably the better idea to answer your question. Pages are for specific functions, and posts go out in aggregated feeds. Okay, guys, so I'm thinking there's probably not any other questions coming in now, so I'm going to go ahead and bid you all a fond good evening, and hope you got something out of tonight's webinar. Okay, so have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon. It's Hugh out.